My Life Chapter 2, Houston, Texas, Screwston, Texas. This is when I moved from Chinatown, New York, Manhattan, to the southwest part of Houston, Texas, in ALIEF. The first school I went to was O'Donnell Middle School. I had to get left back because of my age. So I was living with my mom's brother, my uncle, in his house with his kids and his wife. I didn't have no friends. I didn't know nothing about Houston, Texas. But when I went to school, I started to meet new friends. And I was actually lost in a way because the language was different. There was a lot of black people, a lot of Hispanics, and the few Asians that I saw, I wasn't even sure if I could trust them. I didn't realize I had PTSD because remember, I got jumped by gang members, ghost shadows in New York right after school. So when I went to this school, I'm all thinking like, who might try to jump me here? I remember going in a restroom and this Vietnamese dude came in to use it and I was watching my back because I was worried he might attack me. But I had that PTSD. But anyways, I met some of my classmates, you know what I'm saying? And we rode the same bus back to our neighborhood. I lived on ALIEF Clothing, the same street as Elsick is on, which is Beyonce's high school. One of my buddies that I met in the class, his name was Matt. He was half black and half white. And he invited me to go out one day. So this is my first time going outside in Houston other than with my family members. This is the first time I'm hanging out with a friend, which is a classmate. And he invites me to go to church. It was a Sunday. I can remember because it was a Sunday. And he invited me to go to church. And me, I'm used to going to church and whatever, you know what I'm saying? If somebody invites me to go to church, I'm going to go to church with him. And his mom drove us. His mom was cool as hell, man. Just an old traditional black lady dressed normal like a church lady. So she brought us there to the church, and it was an all-black church, man. There was no Chinese people there, no other nationality but black. It was white church outside. I can remember it was white. I don't remember what location it was, but I know it was like towards the Galleria Mall because that's where we went after. He brought me to the Galleria Mall for my first time. And all I can remember is, for some reason, these are things that I remember. We walked to the arcade. There was an arcade called Tilt. And then he saw another Asian dude that he knew. And I'm guessing at the moment, I didn't know why. He was like, hey, look, that's Fat Boy Jimmy, aka Jimmy Boy. And this is when I'm around 13, 14 years old. And this is 1997. So he points out, hey, that's Fat Boy Jimmy. And I'm like, so? He didn't even introduce me. Matt did not even introduce me. He just pointed at him. When you're a little kid, you just point at somebody, from the neighborhood or whatever. And I guess he pointed at him because I was fat and I was Asian too. But it's so funny that he just pointed at him and didn't introduce me. So I'm telling you this now so you can remember later that I bumped into Fat Boy Jimmy but never met him. And we were at the arcade, so he was playing video games. I was playing little video games, and then we left to get some food, cafeteria. Then he took me to the waterfall, which is right next to the Galleria. They got this big waterfall. But when we went there, his mom's driving us, and we hopped out the car. We didn't really walk to the waterfall. We were on the side, and they were saying, some guy was telling my homie that they were shooting a music video. So we're on the side of the waterfall. It's already dark now outside. We're on the side of the waterfall, and we just chilling because somebody's shooting a music video at the waterfall. So I didn't really get to, stand in front of the waterfall. I was just on the side of it. And the dude was like, hey, y'all want to get in a music video? And he asked my boy Matt. And Matt came up to me and he asked me, he's like, hey, you want to get in this music video? It's Lil Keke. And me being straight from New York, all I knew was like Tupac, Wu-Tang, Jay-Z, Biggie, the usual in the 97 era. Bone Thugs, one of my favorite at the time, but I did not know who Lil Keke was. So when he asked me, and I was just like, Lil Keke? Who's Lil Keke? And he was like, ah, man, you don't know who's Lil, telling his face that he was sad about it because he was so excited. Like, if I would have known who Lil Keke was, I would have been excited too. I would have been like, hell yeah. But I was thinking, man, I'm Chinese. Why would I want to be like, I'm, who am I? I'm nobody for me to be in that music video. I was just like, for my first time to be outside in Houston, it was just weird. But now that I'm looking back, I'm like, damn, how come I was there, but Jimmy Boy wasn't there and he's from Houston? I'm like, ain't that crazy how God puts you in places? So it's like, yo, and it's crazy because I bump into Jimmy Boy later. We became friends. And that's why I'm telling you the story. It's crazy how I kind of like saw him and it was like predestined. And it's weird because when I found out that was who Lil Keke was, I didn't even remember that this happened. But I was invited to be in the Southside music video. But I just said no. I bet you if Jimmy Boy was in my position, if he was there instead of me, he would have known who Lil Keke was, right? He would have been in that music video, the only Asian in that music video too. Y'all check out Lil Keke's Southside music video. He's the OG. He's the leader of the Screwed Up Clique. I didn't even know that, and I became a Screwed Up Clique fan. Huge fan. I started doing the Screwed and Chop. Isn't that crazy, man? My first day outside in Houston. So he got his autograph. Matt was like, all right, I'm gonna get his autograph. And then he asked me, you wanna get his autograph? I'm like, nah, I don't want his autograph. And he was like, what? You don't want his autograph? So he was just bugging out, man. He was tripping on me for not knowing who Lil Keke was, man. And if the older me, when I knew who Lil Keke was, looking back, I would have been mad at me too. But that was one thing that happened that I can't forget. It's so clear what happened that day for some reason. And it's just how, when you listen to the story that continues after this, because just alone this first day was so interesting, you're going to see how Fat Boy Jimmy and Jimmy Boy goes in and out of jail, ends up going to my crib. I see him at the pool hall. You know what I'm saying? We know some of the same homies and the same girls. You know what I'm saying? Like he ended up hanging out with one of my homeboys, and it's like I stopped becoming his friend. His homeboy that he started hanging out with was my junior high school friend from O'Donnell Middle School named Stephen Pham. When we went to Elsick High School, we started to depart. He started to hang out with Jimmy Boy. Jimmy Boy would come to my school. He went to Hastings, but he would come to Elsick. I would see him at the door waiting for my homeboy. And my homeboy would leave me. Steven would leave me to go hang out with him. That's when I started finding new friends. You know what I'm saying? So that's the little story from the beginning, man, of Houston, Texas, Screwston, Texas. This is right before I got into the screw music. This is right when I meet my first girlfriend and got cheated on. This El Salvadorian girl by the name of Mercedes. So y'all stay tuned for the next part of the story, man.